Welcome to Raw Take, everyone, a lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. I'm your host, Gian Thomas, and this is my co-host, D. Williams, and we got an awesome show today, guys.
Yeah, but before we get started, want to let everyone know that the purpose for this video is to be informative and for us to give our raw take opinions on news and events. Yeah.
So, with that being said, as we see, uh, Black Lives Matter, they are putting a lot of pressure on a lot of these police departments all over the country to speak out about former injustices that happened years ago, injustices that happened days ago. So they are really behind these police departments. And the Oklahoma City Police Department released a video from 2019 of a black man saying, "I can't breathe," and the cop saying, "I don't care." Uh, it was 42-year-old Derek Scott. He was arrested. He had a gun on him, and he took off running. The cops came. I think actually he was called because I think he had showed his gun on somebody, like he had probably tried
Yeah.
scaring somebody off, maybe a altercation or something like that. And
Yeah.
so he had showed his gun, and then somebody called the cops, and when the cops got there, he had his hands up, and then he ran. And so, already, it's kind of suspicious that he's running. They run him down, and they get on top of him, and they're on top of him, and he says, "I can't breathe," and then the cop immediately says, "I don't care." And they kind of stayed on top of him, and then it was like, I think it was 9 minutes into it, like he kind of collapsed and fell out, and like he was like unresponsive.
Yeah.
And so this just has, and he did have a weapon on him. Let's put all the facts out there. He did have
Yeah.
a gun on him. So, which is probably part of the reason why he ran. When they did the autopsy, you know it was said that they said he had three main causes of death. Death was
Mhm.
physical restraint, methamphetamine, and asthma. So, that methamphetamine, who knows what that could have been. A lot of over the counter medicines might have some might have methamphetamines in them. You know, I even know some diet pills have methamphetamines in them. So,
Mm.
that, it could have been drugs or it could have been over the counter use. But I think the main cause of this man's death was the restraint, was them being on top of him and him saying he couldn't breathe. And I I think the training, I think just after they took the gun off of him, he was no longer a threat. And I think cops have this belief of when people are talking, they feel like, or when they're having an altercation with somebody, they feel like, oh, this person's lying. This person, the cop automatically thinks, oh, this person is a dirtbag. This person's a
Mhm.
bad person. So I must, put all my force and hate and anger into this person because this person is now deemed a bad person. And I think a lot of the training forces cops to be bad.
Yeah. And I have to say, kind of, I guess, kind of on the cops' defense, and I don't mean to be defending any cops if they're doing wrong or whatever but I think one of the reasons why a cop feels like, this guy is it may be lying or people may be lying when they say this and say that is because in the past that actually has happened where a person said this and say that and cop let up and then the person take off. In fact, the that particular guy you're talking about, he actually I don't know if he when he became unresponsive if he was actually collapsed or not because as soon as they started to get him up, he started to fight back again. He tried to kick the woman that was in front of him. As soon as they started getting him up to put him in onto the stretcher to take him to the hospital.
Ah,
So if he was actually unconscious, then why did he suddenly wake up and start fighting again? You know, maybe he wasn't unconscious. We don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Did you see that video? He looked at when they put him on the stretcher, he was out of it. I think maybe that could have been like a jolt of his body. Maybe he was trying to like, stabilize
I
himself. I
don't know,
mean,
man. Like if you look at it really, really close, like he act like they start picking him, lifting him up, and he immediately started like wiggling, trying to get away, and then he it's almost like a drop kick because he kicked with both his legs because he was being held up, so he was able to kick forward, and the lady that was in front of him, she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They didn't manhandle him or anything anymore. After they got him down, they stayed on him or whatever to make sure. I guess he didn't because he was trying to fight them to get away, so he probably would have tried to get away again had they not uh held him down. And that's the thing, man. All the cops that you know, all the cops that we see doing certain their job, in whatever way they were trained to do, it doesn't mean that they're all bad. Um, it doesn't mean they're all bad at all, and we have to not react towards every cop as though they're just like David Chauvin, because there's a lot of David Chauvins out there, but all the police, all the badges are not David Chauvin, and we just have to, we have to act accordingly. We have to respect that, and some cops are just literally actually trying to do their job and be good cops.
yeah, I mean, some cops are, but I think at the end of the day, we have to look at an hour later, this man died. So, I mean, I think, you don't just drop dead an hour later. I think some things led up to that. And with the cause of death being physical restraint and I think asthma, I think them being on top of him, I think they probably chain started or chain reacted like an asthma attack in him. And I, I think I think it ultimately led for him to die. And so,
Let me say this real fast, if you don't mind. See, I look at it like, okay, you got the cops called on you because you're doing something you shouldn't have been doing, and he did have a gun. He did run from the cops when they did catch up to him. He did try to fight against them. I believe that he maybe not wouldn't have gotten restrained like that had he cooperated in the first place. And
yeah,
I think that people may be overlooking the fact that he ran. If you're a cop and you get called out and confront a suspect or whatever, and they run, your job is to go and catch them.
yeah, but sometimes you don't know how the cops are going to react.
That's
We all
true, but you still shouldn't run.
Yeah, but I mean, so you run, you may die. You stand there, you may die.
Yeah,
I
if
mean
you
that's
run, you might surely die. But if you stand there, you might have a better chance.
Nah, I think, and that's why there's so many calls to defund the police. That's why
Yeah,
that's why we're having this big old movement
yeah,
because they have no credibility. They have lost
right.
all credibility. People do not trust them. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Now,
I was hmm?
my statement is due to to the possibility of that those cops that gets called out that's confronting being actual good cops.
Yeah,
And that's the scary part is that, like you said, yeah, you don't know if they're good cops or bad cops, but however, they are still cops.
yeah.
And so you know that if you know all these things going on, why the heck would you run? You're a black man. You got a gun. The safest thing for you to do is not. He's best that they wasn't the cops that got at that other dude because they didn't shoot him.
Yeah,
it's just a lot. It's just different angles to look at. You know what I'm saying? It's different angles,
yeah, yeah. I
and we
think
don't want to stereotype
ultimately,
all the cops. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, no, it's never good to stereotype all the cops. And I think at the end of the day, we definitely, I think all this goes towards training, and I think how you perceive people that you're policing. I think I think this is just like an inherent thought that most Americans have because this is I mean maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I used to have this concept that if you
Hmm.
went to jail that you were a bad person. Like if you got in trouble that you was un like non-deemable, like you couldn't be redeemable, like you were just like gone, like you were a bad person. And so it wasn't until I got older and I realized all that stuff is not true. Like people make mistakes, and your mistakes shouldn't cost you your life. That's why we have an entire justice system, so you can go through these things, so you can go through the process, so you can
Yeah.
have your due process. And I think this is the main problem, like with black people. It's just like we skip that. It's just like you get in trouble, death. Like that's all I ever see. Like black people and their interactions with the cops lead to death.
Uh-huh.
That's why I was about to say, I've had these conversations on Facebook and people are like, well, who are you gonna call if something bad happens? I'm like, I don't know. Hell, I don't know. I definitely don't want to call a cop. Shoot, I might call a cop and then I might get shot. I remember, oh my God, this is a crazy story. I'm gonna tell this quick story real quick. There was a
Hmm.
guy in my neighborhood. He was running, I don't know, he had did something crazy. He hopped my fence, and me and my dog went running down the stairs. We ran outside. I looked outside. Before I ran outside, I looked outside. The cop spotlighted my window. He looks at me. I look at him through my window. I run downstairs. This this fool says to me, "Where are you coming from?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" It, I'm like, "You just saw me run from my house. I'm not the person you're chasing that after Buckaroo. I don't know what you're thinking. Already it was just like, bruh, you about to start getting on me, attacking on me, and I'm trying to see what the commotion is. That it's just it's just that we have so many bad interactions with the cops.
Yeah, I've
And
actually had one too.
and you see, and that's the thing. Every black person, every Hispanic person, we have the worst interactions with cops. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to call the cops. I don't know who I'm gonna call. I call my friends. I'm like, hey guys, hey, some weird stuff is happening. I call a
Yeah.
white person to call the cops. That's sad. That's you know we shouldn't be having. I this just goes to show how bad things are happening. Our country is just. I think honestly, this is the new civil rights era. Like this is the civil rights era that my grandparents went through, that your grandparents went through, that
Yeah.
they fought in, and because it's just there's so many similarities. I don't know if anybody is hearing about, but there's lynchings in California. There are
Yeah.
lynchings. Lynchings. Robert Robert Fuller was lynched in front of City Hall. You cannot tell me that is not a political statement. The
You
cops,
know they're trying to say there was a suicide, right?
exactly. They try to say it was a suicide. His family's like he had no suicidal thoughts. That's not
And
even
did you like the the coroner, they said that they had no experience. They didn't do an autopsy. They just kind of like, oh, it's a suicide.
it's a suicide.
Yeah, they didn't
What?
find the ladder. They didn't. I mean, it had to have been. He had to have had a ladder, and then how would he remove the ladder if he's hanging?
Exactly. And the homicide department wasn't even done investigating. So how are you gonna come out and say that it's suicide and the homicide department hasn't even put their 2 cents in? This
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Once they started to investigate, because prior to that, they didn't investigate. They didn't investigate until the family kind of spoke up.
exactly. This just
Because they
goes
were
to
gonna
show.
sweep it under the rug, man.
Exactly. This just goes to show that the cops have no accountability. None. Or no, like, this is why we're having all these problems. Because they just sweep stuff underneath the rug. You have, and then it's not just him. There was Malcolm Harsh. That man was found hanging in front of a library
Yeah,
in California.
yep. That's the
Uh,
one in Victorville, right?
yeah, that's the one in Victorville.
Yeah,
You can't tell me that these hangings are not happening, or and they're not connected, or they're not a sign of something. We're at the brink of having a race war, and you have black men being hung.
huh.
Um, Coincidence? I think not. It, it's just so crazy, D. Will. It's so crazy, man. Um,
Yeah, it is, man. And you know, we have to. We definitely got to do something about it. And I have something else to say, but I'm gonna wait until you bring up the other young man that we're gonna
brother,
talk
yeah, but I don't. It's just it just and the fact that the cops are not taking this serious is just a huge issue. It just goes to show why people want to defund the cops, why we want to reform the cops from the ground up. Because it's
about.
needed.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's what's needed for the country.
And do you know the cop? I can't remember his name. The cop that kneeled with the protesters.
Um, no, I don't know his name,
He
but I know
I don't know
exactly
his
who you're
name, but
talking about.
yeah, he stood with the protesters, kneeled with them. He actually said he actually like apologized to his fellow officers like the next day or something and said that he felt really bad or stupid or something like that, and he was like, the cop in me wants to be, wants to kick my you know what, for kneeling with them. I'm like, what? The cop in you? Okay. What about your humanity? What? Okay, okay.
So wait, so he was saying the cop in him wants to bash himself for kneeling. So the cop in
Yes.
him wants to bash the protesters, which is
Yeah.
what is basically happening. Cops are
Yeah.
bashing protesters. The, the system is so broken. It is so broken. It's so sad how broke it is. I mean, that's why you see protesting. That's why people are going to continually protest, and we have to continue to protest because there is no justice. So there's no justice, no peace, and we have to keep on. You see, that's why the forefathers put all these things in place. So if our democracy did become tyrannical, we didn't have to start a whole revolution to take our democracy back. We could take it back through the system. That's why, and this we have to become part of the system. That is the biggest part. You have to be part of that change. And I keep saying that because that is how you make true change happen. You have to be
Hmm.
that true change. And so, with that being said, uh, another black man, another black man shot and killed. Rayshard Brooks, 27 years old, was shot when had a we had an altercation with the cops. It was
Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it an altercation because this is the definition of 0 to 100. It was literally so peaceful at the beginning. I mean, the cops, they were calm, cool, collected. He was calm, cool, collected. I mean, he was, but at the point that he had no weapon, they should not have used deadly force. And yes, people are going to be like, well, he had a taser. A taser is not the definition of a deadly weapon.
Exactly. Exactly.
And for them to just shoot him in the back, it just goes to show that our cops do not care about black lives. Because I swear to God, if that was a white man, it would not even have went that far. It would have They would have called his wife, they would have called him a Uber, they would have followed behind him while he drove home, because I know those are options, because those are options my friends have told me they have gotten, and my friends are of a way lighter complexion than I. And
Yeah.
this is just goes to show that there is a two-tier system for people. Why would you arrest this man? You de-escalated, everything was cool, calm, and collective. You could have did the many things. Why are cops not doing these things? You could put a fine and you could charge $100 to take somebody home. And you cops want to get money the smart way. You know, this doesn't make sense. He did not have to die. And I know people are going to be like, he shot the taser. You have to pick your battles. No, this was a black man who didn't need to
Oh,
die.
no,
There are
I kind of
stories.
agree with that though.
Exactly, because there are stories all over the internet saying that like there's this story in Wichita Falls of uh a 38-year-old man, Hanson. Accordingly, he was at a mental hospital, I think, and he aggressively approached the officer. He took the taser gun, and you know what the cops did and the security did? They didn't get around him. They like barricaded him in a room, and they basically waited him out. I mean, why can we not do tactics like that? I mean, the man was running. I mean, catch him another day. I mean, hell, you got his car, you got his information. You can find it. He's not. Where is he gonna go? He has nowhere to go. He's gonna go home. Pick him up when he goes home. Pick him up while he goes home. I mean, shooting him was
Yeah,
it was just not needed.
I don't get why they didn't. Well, let me back up, Fred, because all of that you said, 100% yes, you right on point with it. But I'm gonna back up a bit. Everything was calm in the beginning. Um, and although there may have not been just no justification of them arresting the man, however, the man should not have taken off and ran like that.
Yeah,
Um, because as I said before, they were still cops. Plus, knowing what's going on with the police and black people today, right now, why would you take off and run, give them the opportunity to kill you?
yeah, that's true.
You know, he could have. He went while he was cooperating. They were fine. So, you know, when they started to put the handcuffs on him, he started fighting and taking off running, taking their taser gun. You know, they probably was mad because he had outdone them,
Mhm. Yeah,
because he
yeah,
did get the taser gun and got away from them and
yeah,
was able to turn around and fire the taser at them, even though he didn't hit them, but he fired at them. But um, so you know, he shouldn't have ran. That's first. But then after he did run, you know, the other officer did fire his taser at him, but he missed, I guess, because you know the guy kept running. But neither of them tried to run him down. They just pow pow pow.
because it's the easiest way. It's the easiest.
Yeah, like he just not. Let's let's just take him out. It won't matter.
Yeah,
But I got another issue when it comes down to our black community and on dealing with the police. Um, when if you you know, we know that the situation that's going on right now. Police are, you know, they're performing brutality against black people and anyone who stands with black people. But we're just talking about the black community right now. So just because we have all these things going on and the police brutality going on, and as I said before, every cop is not a bad cop. However, there's still a lot of them, and the problem comes because you don't know which one is bad, which one isn't.
yeah,
However, this whole protesting Black Lives Matter, everything that's going on right now does not excuse the black community to commit stupid crimes or do stupid things uh, to the cops or in front of the cops and expect to get away with it. We still have to respect the law. The law, the cops don't, they're supposed to uphold the law, but they didn't create it. So we have to be law-abiding citizens no matter what. And because if we're not law-abiding citizens, we definitely can't expect them to be. So, uphold the law. But I was just looking at, like that guy ran. The other guy, he also ran. There was another guy who the cops responded to a domestic disturbance call, and he was he didn't want them to do their job and to make sure that whoever was in the house was okay. Um, so, like, the cops still have a job to do, those who are good cops, and we have to respect the law by abiding by it and not thinking or not expecting to be able to handle the cops any kind of way, especially knowing that some of them may be out to gun you down anyway. So you certainly want to handle them with care. So, you know, if you respond in a hostile way towards the cops, you gotta be stupid to not believe that they're gonna be hostile back towards you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the black community, we have to be smarter than that. Let's not badmouth the cops. Let's not try to fight against the cops. Definitely don't run from them because if yeah, George Floyd didn't give him a reason to kill him. However, there's a lot of black people that has lost their lives because they did give a reason. It may have not been a validated reason, but it caused them in their mind, the police mind, they were provoked, and whatever way they say that they were, whether it was justifiable or not. So like I'm saying, we just got to be smarter, man. We do have to choose our battles wisely. And for
Yeah.
him to run, I don't care about him firing the taser. Maybe he should have hit one, especially the one that shot him. But his battle was chosen when he chose to run, not
I
not so much as when he fired because they didn't have no intentions of chasing him down anyway.
yeah. But that shouldn't be though. I mean, there's like
Exactly.
I said,
Right.
there's all these, and I know we shouldn't put ourselves in the because that's basically how my mom taught me. But I mean, we gotta like we're living in America. White people be cussing out the cops.
But they
You
white
know,
though. They could do that.
but no, but we can't just let them do that. Like,
Yeah, I
they spit
know.
in the cop's face. I
Yeah.
mean, all
But see,
types of stuff.
yeah, see, like, but the way that we fix it is not to do the same thing we see the privileged do because they're the privileged. We're not. So we can't respond to the cops the same way they do and expect to get the same results because our skin is not the same. So we already know, pretty much the possibility of how we may be treated, even if we don't do those things. So if you do those things, you should expect to be treated bad or get killed. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You have to choose your battles wisely. And that's not the way to fight this battle by being stupid with the cops because you don't know which one's going to be stupid back with you.
yeah.
And some of them may
No,
be good, honest cops, and you put yourself in a situation that caused them to have to uh, to handle you roughly. A good cop, I don't think, would actually kill you
exactly. Thank you.
unless you're
Thank
trying to
you.
kill them or something. But
Or
a good
something
cop
like
is
that.
gonna,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
a good cop is gonna do their job correctly. And like I said before, the bad thing is that we don't know who's a good cop and who's not.
yeah,
Right now, it seems like most of them are bad cops.
yeah,
But choosing your battles wisely is one of the smartest things we can do, and uh, we have to not put ourselves in a predicament with a situation with the law enforcement that they would consider being provoked
yeah. Or they would
because it
consider
doesn't
it
take much.
dangerous.
It does that you they already kind of feel provoked because of our skin color. So let's not
Yeah,
add to it.
yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't. That to me, that's the concept of like living in fear. Like I have to be on pins and needles because of these overseers, these oppressors who can take my life and then get a week off and then be seen as a hero. To me,
Yeah.
that's why. That's why I'm so for defunding the police. I'm so for
Oh yeah.
reforming the police. I mean, we definitely need to retrain them. We need better cops. I mean, because you know what? I've never seen I've never seen a good apple make a bad bunch of apples go good. You know what I mean? But I have
No.
seen a bad bunch of apples
Hmm.
make a couple of good apples go bad. So to me,
Hmm.
that's exactly how I view the system. I mean, you could have these good cops, but when you don't say nothing and you're not doing anything, you know, you're considered a bad cop because you're not speaking up. You know,
Yeah.
and you know what? But like Dave Chappelle said, you know, when good cops do speak up and they don't get heard, and then they get ostracized and blackballed, then they then they go crazy, and then they start war, and then that's a whole nother problem. But
Yeah. There was one cop, and I think he's in Oklahoma. Um, and he was making a statement concerning not only his department, but also speaking on behalf of like police all over the world and what needs to happen um, to go or lean towards fixing the problem. And I'm going to play that
What's going to
clip.
happen anymore. We're going to listen to the community. We're going to hear what they have to say, and we're going to do better. And I don't want to imply that the officers out here right now aren't working hard and doing a great job, because I believe they are. And that's all the men and women of the Oklahoma City Police Department, sworn and civilian. But if we're not open to change and open to improving and open to doing better, we'll fail as an organization and we'll fail as a community. So
go ahead.
Okay, so guys, you see, this is proof that all cops are not bad, and there are some cops that actually want to make a difference. There are some cops that actually want to fix the problem. And you see what he said, change is needed, and then change can only happen if everyone's involved in that change. If everyone becomes a part of that change that needs to happen. And yeah, the cops, they all do need to do better. And a start is, this whole call to defund the police. And you know what, Gian, I noticed that it seems like a lot of people don't understand what the word defund means.
No.
They're taking the word defund as though you're saying dismantle or
Yeah,
disband. And that's
exactly.
not what the defunding the police means. Defund means that you are taking funding money from the police departments and possibly reallocating it in other areas and um, other programs that's needed also in the communities. Um,
Exactly.
and that's what defunding means. It doesn't mean that hey, we're going to get rid of the cops and then we become cops. No, that's not what it means at all.
Yeah, at
So
all.
everybody needs to understand what defunding actually means, and then maybe everyone would have a clearer vision of what defunding the police really would do for the communities.
Yeah. There's, like I said, I think it was last show I said, there's hot words. There's these hot words that people like to grab on, and when you don't fully explain and go through what they mean with a fine-tooth comb, it just kind of gets swept up in these broad messages. It's just like defund means dismantle, lawlessness,
Yeah,
Antifa, Black Lives Matter, control, because that's how the right is gonna picture it. That's
yeah,
how they're gonna set it up. They're gonna be like, they're gonna have lawlessness in the streets, and it's like, well, hell, I think we have lawlessness in the streets now with the
we
cops
do.
just killing everybody and them getting away, and you can't even protest because they'll tear gas you. It,
Yeah, if you're peaceful, yeah, they're gonna violently disrupt you. But if you're violent already, then you're good to go. They're not gonna mess with you.
you know what I just
Um,
realized?
huh? What's that?
Tear gas is the new water hosing. Is the new water hose.
Because they don't use that anymore.
Nope, they can't. So they was like, hey, We'll gas them. You can't even use tear gas on the battlefield, but they'll use tear gas on their own American people. Crazy.
Yeah, and rubber bullets. I mean, it
And
is
rubber.
better than killing, but they still hurt significantly. Um,
Exactly.
I had one more thing to say about the killing at the Wendy's parking lot. Why did they burn the Wendy's? What did
Uh,
Wendy's have to do with it?
I think it's because they're burning these. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of injustice. There were
Yeah,
so many
that's a
actions that
stupid
could have.
symbol though.
I don't
Because
know.
what did all white people, did cops work at that Wendy's? I mean, come on. You taking people's jobs, the same people that you're trying to fight for and make these statements for, you actually are hurting them when you destroy businesses because guess what? A lot of these businesses that got destroyed, it's some black people that work there too.
I mean,
And
yeah, but
this Wendy's, why destroy the property? That's not how you fight it again. That's not peaceful either.
yeah, no, it's not peaceful. But like I was about to say, the Wendy's is it's a symbol of the injustice that happened. And there's so many things that could have been done to prevent that young man from dying. I mean, he was 27. I'm 27. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
that hits really close to home. But
Yeah.
I mean, he could have, like, they didn't have to call the cops on him. If he was in there, and this is what I probably see, he probably got dropped off over there, probably got in his car. He was probably drunk. He was probably like, I'm gonna try and sit it off, wait it off. He was probably like, I'm gonna get me some food. This will make it go by quicker. So he probably got in the line, still very intoxicated, probably fell asleep in his car. I mean, you saw that he was able to pull over. He could have just pulled over. I mean, somebody could have got out their car, knocked on his window, hey bro, hey man, go pull over. Go just rest.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could have happened
Yeah.
before you could call the cops. We don't always have to be quick to call the cops,
So
especially if you. Go ahead.
did Wendy's call the cops on him, or one of the people in the drive-through call the cops on him? I don't know.
I think I do not know because I do not
Because
know.
how would Wendy's have known that he was sleeping in the drive-through? They don't be outside.
Well, I think they just said he was probably obstructing. I think they said he was obstructing the drive through, and so
But
I
then
think
how
I
would
think they.
Wendy's know that? It would
Well,
have had to be someone that was in the line because it was a car behind him.
yeah, yeah, no, but they have surveillance cameras, so they could have saw his car
Oh
not
yeah.
moving. They
Yeah,
have
I didn't think
cameras
about
all over
that.
the place.
You're right. That's so they probably did call.
Yeah,
Okay, so I guess that's why they burnt Wendy's down.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And did you? I don't know if you heard, but allegedly, because we have to go with everything, when we're not clear on things. Allegedly, it was a white woman who burned it.
Really?
Yeah, Miss Becky was
Well
mad.
then. Oh, did she work there or something?
Oh, I don't know. They don't know, but they just said there's like video of a white woman like setting it on fire.
Wow.
There's a lot of your anarchists are not really black people. A lot of your
Right,
anarchists
right.
burning stuff, breaking stuff, or.
We seen that when the riots started.
Exactly. So, it's sad to see this happen. It won't. I mean, this is the new civil rights era. This is what this is, and this is what it looks like. This is what change. This is how you get change. You have to protest, organize, and participate. I keep saying that because that's what we have to do. We have to get out there and we have to continually be the change that we want to see. And that's how we're gonna combat all of this. You know,
Yeah.
you have to put yourself in positions of power so you can change. So
Right.
it's just sad because my grandmother is 93, and I remember when she told me she lived in New Orleans during the civil rights era, and she told me she was part of a march, and she asked me about going to marches and just being part of that process, and to her it's just like it's you know 60, 50 years later, we're still fighting the same fights. It's just a new face, but it's still the same fight.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
it's very crazy.
Yep. So hopefully we can, make a difference and implement change in the system, fix the broken system. Like you said, we encourage everyone to, just become a part of the system because we
Yeah,
can't fix it from the outside looking in. We have to get inside and fix it. It's already been tried to be fixed from the outside, and that didn't work. Um, so, if we can become a part of the system, then yeah, we can work on the system and possibly and fix this broken system and hopefully, we all become Americans together.
yeah. See,
Because I was reading an article earlier, and it was like um, the Black American community. I'm like, wait a minute. So it's true. Either you American or you Black. Okay, that's
yeah,
how we're doing it now.
it's
So that,
blatant.
that kind of bothered me, man, because I know I said something about that in the last show when we were talking about Lauren Ingram. You know how she uh, said about Drew Brees being a person and everything. So
Yeah,
it's like black people. We're not people. We're black. That's
yeah,
that's what we are. That's like a theme.
yeah. It's truly sad, man. But all right, guys, that's our show. That's our raw take. So
Yeah,
we keep it real on here. Nowhere else on YouTube. Keeps it as real as we do. We tell y'all how we see it. We tell you how it
that's
is.
right. That's right.
So we need everybody to kill that like button. I need y'all to kill that like button. Come on, guys. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're at 15. I know y'all watching these videos. I need y'all to subscribe. Share the video. Please share the video. Make sure it gets out there. Make sure you spread our love. Keep it going. We are
Yeah,
growing. We're a growing community. Send us topics. What y'all want to hear about? Tell us keep on, because a lot of these things our raw takers are sending us. Keep on sending us stuff.
yeah,
Keep us informed. If you see an injustice in your area, let us know. We'll talk about it, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring all these things to light, y'all. So
yeah,
that's our show,
exactly.
y'all.
All right, and I want to encourage everyone to make sure you still be safe, still practice the safety guidelines, practice the social distancing, wear your mask, keep your hand sanitizer, your your alcohol spray, whatever it takes to stay safe, so that we can hopefully see a decline in the numbers of cases of the coronavirus in our
Exactly.
in our communities.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day.